Hey, what's up, you guys? So I'm here with another review. This is the Codek Spiral. As always, if you enjoy the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy the content of the channel, I invite you to subscribe. All right, the Codek Spiral. Now, this is a very different and interesting watch. Codek is now defunct. It was a micro brand. This is the first watch they made. And the owner, well, I think he made a fantastic watch. Just didn't want to pursue making another model. He's kind of following other paths in life, seeking other endeavors. But they did make this first model, and I really like it. So as always, let's go through the specifications, the pros, the cons, and then I'll let you know if I think this watch is worth the money. All right, so right away, this case shape is kind of hard to measure. It's only 38 millimeters on the shortest diameter, but it does increase. You can see it's much longer from here to here, and it's longer with these crazy crown guards. So it does wear like a 38, 39 millimeter, but I guess we'll call it a 38, but just know that it is wider than that in some circumstances. The lug to lug is very short. It's 41 millimeters, and you do have drilled lug holes. The case is very thin. It's only about 11 millimeters thick, just shy of 11 millimeters. And then you have a 20 millimeter lug width. Now, this is not the original strap. This is a Barton Elite strap. I'm really into these lately. They're comfortable, they're inexpensive, they come in a lot of colors, they have quick release spring bars, and I just really kind of wanted to match there's a red tip on the second hand, and I thought the black strap with the red on the back, so it just kind of complements that red second hand, the red tip on that second hand. I thought that was a cool combination. The watch did come on a brown leather strap, which is nothing wrong. It's quite comfortable, but it's thick and it's the summer and it's hot, and I don't really want to wear a leather strap in the summer. So it's going to be on the Barton Elite at least for the rest of the hot time of the year. So the case finishing, it's all brushed. So there's a lot going on with this case. You have these really crazy angular lugs. They're very short. And then you have these angles kind of running up to the crown itself. And then the other side of the case is complete opposite. It's like this bowl, but also has these very brutal, sharp lugs as well. So there's just kind of a lot going on, and the case is all brushed, which I think was a good choice. I think a combination of brushed and high polished surfaces would be a little bit too much. The case shape just kind of speaks for itself, and it doesn't need a lot of like extra polishing and finishing details. The crown is just push pull, and that is actually high polish, and it is signed with that Codek kind of symbol that is also adorning the 12 o'clock position. It is stamped into the crown, so that's pretty cool. You do have an exhibition case back, and they put the Codek symbol also on the rotor. Now, this is powered by an ETA 2824. They did do a little custom work on the rotor, and they did modify this movement. There's no dial or no date on the dial, so they modified it so there's no ghost position. So it just has the winding position as the first position, and then it hacks in the time setting position is the second position. So there's no ghost date position on this guy. And then they also regulated these. So it's supposed to be regulated to about +3, -4. I haven't actually timed this one out. I had the blue one for a while. I sold that one. I really wanted the white one. Eventually got the white one. And it was super accurate. I think it was like ±1 or 2 seconds a day. So they did a great job on that. And then, you can't really go wrong with the ETA 2824. It's like in a million watches, reliable movement, cheap to service. So it's a good choice for this watch, and it's cool that you see the micro brand using that. A lot of times they'll use Seiko movements. I have nothing wrong with that. But it was kind of cool. They kind of wanted to do a Swiss thing, and these did actually get assembled. These were assembled in Switzerland, so they were able to write Swiss made on the dial. It has the, minimum number of components that's required to be Swiss made. I'm not too worried about all that, but it's kind of like what they wanted to do for the watch, and they pull it off. So you have a sapphire crystal on the front, and I believe this is a sapphire crystal on the back. Obviously, you've already seen, you have this exhibition case back, so you can see the movement beating away there. This is a 28,800 beat per hour movement and has about 38 hours of power reserve. It does wind, although I've heard you're not supposed to wind these 2824s that much, so I avoid winding it at all possible. I just give it a little like shake to get the rotor going. I heard there's some metal on metal components in the 2824 winding mechanism, and that it will break down over time. If you guys know anything about that, I would love to hear from you in the comments. For now, I'm just kind of erring on the side of not winding it. But I would love to know more if anyone has a more like technical knowledge about what's going on there. We can move in on the dial though. This dial is crazy. It's part of like what I like about the watch. It's a combination of how crazy the case is and how crazy the dial is. So right away you can see the indices kind of spiral out from the 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock position. They start small and then they get wider, and then that pattern resets. And then inside of that pattern, you have this crazy wave pattern on the dial. And I don't know if it's going to pick up in the camera, but kind of like as it plays with the light, it does this sort of like an optical illusion. And it's really dynamic. It's really cool to see on your wrist. And then you have very long, which you guys probably, if you watch the channel, I love long minute hand, long second hand. I want it to go all the way out. So you have a long minute hand, you have a long second hand with that dash of red, just a little bit of playful color on the second hand there. And then you have the minute track all the way around the edge. It's only broken by, they wrote Codek here between the 2 and the 3 position, and Swiss made here between the 8 and the 9. And then they do have the Codek symbol. But I like that minimal, it's a minimum amount of writing on the dial. I think this dial is so weird and kind of artsy. You don't want a lot of writing on it. So I think they did a great job there. The hands are skeletonized. And one of the things I do love about these skeleton hands, they're kind of like alpha style, but I'll show you like, let me stop the second hand in just a second. So yeah, this watch does hack, you can see. But kind of when you have these skeleton hands, throughout the day as they overlap each other, it's kind of cool to see them overlap, and they kind of make cool patterns underneath them. You kind of get that like middle triangle that kind of happens as they pass each other. So I don't know, just kind of one of the things you notice about a watch. I don't know if you're familiar with like the Seiko rocket, like sometimes when the hands pass each other, like on the Seiko Samurai, it kind of looks like a rocket. So you just see the little details you notice when you're a watch person. But I just kind of noticed, I love the way the hands overlap like throughout the day. So it's kind of just something cool to watch, and another detail about this watch that became apparent after owning it for some time. So yeah, that's all the details of the dials. So obviously it's time only. There's no date, which helped too. I usually always want a date on a watch, but I don't know where you would put it on this watch. It would just really break up the whole motif of the watch. So that's basically all the functionality and specs of the watch. As far as pros and cons, the cons first, there's no lume on this thing. Obviously it's a dress watch, but it kind of floats. It's a hard watch. I don't think it was very popular because it's such a bold and out there design, but then it's also kind of just more of a dress watch to me, like a casual dress watch, which I just don't think is very popular in the watch space. I think dive watches just dominate like the interest of people with watches, and dress watches just they're not quite the same. So I actually really like this watch, but I think maybe that was kind of a shortcoming. I think this should have been like pushed more towards the dress, or maybe a little bit more towards like a sport casual like market segmentation, and maybe that would have been like slightly better. But other than that, there's really nothing that I have against this watch. It's really all pros for me. Like it was a great selection of the movement. I really like the hands they picked. The dial is interesting. It's just different. Like this is a very brave and bold approach, and I think they did some of the things that like more neurotic watch people like regulating the movement, removing the ghost position. I think this watch did a lot of things right, but I think maybe it was just too bold, or it's just too different and out there, that it wasn't as popular, I think, as it could have been. So anyways, as far as the price, I think these were like, I want to say like $550, $600 when they first came out. But they did get marked down over time. I don't know like what exactly happened, if they're having trouble selling them, or if the owner just kind of wanted to, sell his stock out. They did get quite low at the end. So I was able to actually pick this one up secondhand, but I was able to get this for only about $200. I think that's how much they were at the end, like $200, $250. So at that price point, it's kind of a no-brainer. You're getting a ETA 2024. It's kind of unheard of at that price point. So I already really liked the design of the watch, and then it got extremely affordable. So it was a really no-brainer for me, and I kind of like this. It's very different. It's very out there. It's just kind of a unique part of the collection. So that's the Codec Spiral. If you do want to get one, you can search on like Watch Recon or eBay. They pop up from time to time. There was this colorway, the white dial with the black indices, and there's a blue dial with white hands and white indices. I've had both. I had the blue one for a while, but I decided I really wanted the white one, so I obtained the white one. But the blue one is also pretty cool. I'll pop up a picture of it now, so you can kind of see. It's different. I think the white is better, and I think they made less of them, but you can't really go wrong with the blue one either. Anyways, you guys, sorry, that was kind of an excited ramble. I just really like this watch, and I was glad I was finally able to get a white one. I was hunting it for a long time. So that's the Codec Spiral, and that's all for this one. I'll definitely see you guys next time. No loom shot. I will pop it on the wrist for the last shot, and you can see how it looks on my 6 3/8 quarters wrist. But yeah, obviously no loom shot because there's no loom here. So just a second. So there it is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. You can see super short 41 millimeter lug to lug. You almost can't even see the lugs on the top down. And it's like I said, only 11 millimeters thick. So it wears really comfortable, just really flat on wrist. You can see it's on that Barton Elite, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of a hint of red to kind of complement the hint of red on the second hand. I don't know, maybe this is not the best strap for this watch, but it's really comfortable and it makes it kind of more casual and fun. But I think this is an absolute strap monster. You have 20 millimeter lug width, which you're going to find infinite straps for, that size. You have drilled lug holes, so the strap changes are going to be easy, and it's mostly monochromatic white and black dial. The red tip the second hand might throw off a couple of colors, but I think you could really put this like on any color strap and it would look pretty cool. So I'm going to leave it there for now. As always, if you like this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.